Religion was something I was never really into, just not my thing. My parents were, however, not super into it, but they had, the bare minimum belief. Like the idea of God, sin, Satan, heaven, and hell. The bare minimum stuff. I went most of my life not believing it, but here was the father of sin right in front of me. I was tense right away, for obvious reasons. I didn't know how to react to this sort of thing. I've seen my fair share of demons and weird people, but this was a whole new level. I didn't make the first move. In fact, Lucifer made the first move. Offered me to take a seat with him. Of course, I took his offer. I wasn't going to tell him no, and sat across from him. He started off by asking a simple question. What do you know of the Infinity Stones? Obviously, I didn't know exactly. I made efforts into researching what they were, but all I got was stumped. That's what I told him. It was the truth. Then he made the introductions. He was Lucifer, of course, and he had the answers to that burning question. The first thing he did, though, which was a bit weird, is that he cleared up some of the things that people think about him. Yeah, he is Lucifer, the father of all sin, but he isn't what the Bible and religion say about him. Hell isn't exactly what the latter say either. What me and Alex, I guess, saw was just one of those weird corners of hell, but he wanted to just get all the introduction stuff out of the way. He then went into the Infinity Stones and the deeper connections they have. I could tell by just listening to him that there was something deep inside his soul that was scaring him. And if the devil is scared of something, well, anyway, the stones were created as a means of sealing a greater darkness. He didn't have time to explain the whole event, but the stones are important. There are 6 in total: time, power, space, reality, mind, and soul. The foundations of the new universe is what he said. The 2 have already made themselves known. Time and power. Of course, me having time. That means there's still 4 left. Lucifer asked me if I knew the truth about my town. Besides the ruffians and weirdos that hang out at night, I told him no. What he said next would absolutely shatter everything I knew. Messina is the one place in the world where heaven and hell are the closest to each other. He even brought up the moment Alex and I were sent to hell by Avery, the blood assassin at the time, but in recent times, something has brought heaven and hell near together. Heaven and hell were meant to stay apart. When I asked him why he was telling me all this, he said the answer should be obvious. I'm capable of harnessing the power of the stones. To be fair, I'm only able to harness a bit of that energy right now, but I do have projects down the line that would be able to harness more of that power, and I told him that. I told him the only experience I had was with the time stone, and even that, to be fair, like I said, was very minimal. There's untold potential in that stone alone, let alone all 6 brought together, he said. If all 6 are brought together, depending on who gathered them, could be equal to God, at the very least. I thought of the people who knew of the stone's existence. Well, there was George, Alex, Avery, the Master, now Lucifer, and also Infinity. That one guy keeps popping up. I asked Lucifer about him, actually. He didn't know who exactly Infinity was, but he said he'd look into it. Obviously, it's important enough that Infinity was gathering the stones. On that question, it seemed like our time is up. Lucifer straightened out his suit and announced it formally. The last thing he said to me was that events are in motion, and it's a matter of time before things unfold. And while he didn't know exactly, down to a T, what was going on, he did know that the pieces are falling into place. And with that final little tidbit, he poofed in a pillar of fire. How classy. I put in for a request for a vehicle drop-off. I already had a lot on my plate. This just added a ton more. How on earth could this day get any better?